We asked storytellers to select a type of story and some words to inspire the stories that they tell.
It's a little known fact that Marie Antoinette had a love for red avocados. They were very rare. They had to be brought over from Colombia because it was grown in the hills of the Andes by brilliant agriculturalists, the Incas and the Quechua, I think they're called, who created most of our vegetables. But the red avocado was the rarest one of all. It was really hard to keep fresh because they only had sailing boats. And they had to also, they didn't really have access to ice, so they had to like the ocean was cold, so they had little bags that they hung from the side of the boat. Little woven bags out of a cloth or out of a string-like material to keep them fresh. But the problem was that it was salty in the ocean. And so you ended up with like a avocado pickle, which, you know, is not quite what you wanted. But you have to realize that these people in Europe, because they were so far behind the Incas and the Quechuas and the other groups of Indians who created most of our vegetables, never had pickles either, because they never had a cucumber. Cucumbers grew in the Andes also, next to the tomatoes and the potatoes, and the corn was, I think, up in North America. And so, but they were amazed at this taste, this avocado pickle, which they didn't know was a pickle. And you know, she did say, let them eat cake. It's a historical fact. But she also said, they can't eat red avocados, because that's only for the upper classes. In fact, she had sumptuous gowns, and she had this like, so these shiploads of pickled red avocados would come in, and the poor people who didn't have bread, who didn't have shoes, who are walking around in the paved or unpaved streets of Paris and Marseille would see this luscious red fruit. And they knew about tomatoes, because tomatoes came over like a decade before that. You know, there was a time Italy did not have marinara sauce. It's hard to imagine that, but it's true. So they figured, oh my God, these must be super tomatoes because they're red. And when you heard there were avocados, I thought, oh wow, that's even better. It's got more syllables. It has a more pleasant sounding name. And they wanted some, and they knew they couldn't have cake. And Marie Antoinette was a vain woman. She was from Vienna, really. She was actually pretty young. She thought she was very pretty, but she may have been on an outside sort of way, not in her heart. And she decorated her hair. She had her hair teased up about like 2 feet high, and she hung in a little wire contraption which she had on top of her head, the red avocados. And their decision was made that if she was going to insult the people by flaunting her wealth, I mean, they knew she had gold. They knew she had silver. But when they found out red avocados, it was too much. And so, unfortunately, things went well for the proletariat of Paris and Marseille and France. And she was on, they called the tumbril, the cart leading to the guillotine. And it was really shocking that things got so out of hand that when her head hit the sidewalk or the cobblestones of Paris, there was masses of people pulling at this red avocado so they could have, for once in their life, a taste of luxury. And they didn't care how it cost. They didn't care. There might have been a little royal blood on it. It's still the taste of luxury, the taste of superiority. Finally, for a moment, on their tongue, they felt that they were real men, real women, and they had a life worth living. And they didn't know they tasted something that was pretty much like a pickle. So that's it.